Damn.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Political Jargon Show, live edition for July 18th, 2017. Lots to cover today. We got the healthcare dilemma going on. This was big news starting today and a couple days ago. Not only that, but we've got a lot of different news on the Trump administration, FCC rules, the Trump administration on Iran, a lot of different issues to cover today, and hopefully I can fit it in within the allotted time. So welcome one and all, welcome to the Political Jargon Show here. I'm your host, Eddie. How's everybody doing today? So I don't want to waste much time starting off with the healthcare debate. The healthcare debate is a huge debate going on in the United States right now. We need to have this discussion, but a lot of the ways that these people are having these discussions are not the best way to have the discussion. And by that I mean there's a lot of Republicans out there that are not willing to have a discussion and just want to do it their way, and that's not the best way to do this. So I've got an article by The Hill that is I'm going to read out, and so basically, to quote The Hill here, quote, Republican Senator Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia and Susan Collins of Maine said on Tuesday that they will not support moving forward with the plan to repeal Obamacare with a delayed replacement. Quote, my position on the issue is driven by its impact on West Virginians. With that in mind, I cannot vote to repeal Obamacare without a replacement plan that addresses my concerns and the needs of West Virginians, Capito said in a statement. Collins said that she is still no on proceeding on the White House on the House-passed bill, which would be used as a vehicle for any Senate action. Quote, we cannot just hope that we will pass a replacement within the next 2 years. Repealing without a replacement would create great uncertainty for individuals who rely on the ACA and cause further turmoil in the insurance markets, she said. She added that she recommends Senator Lamar Alexander, a Republican from Tennessee, the chairman of the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, quote, begin to hold hearings to examine ways to fix the many flaws in the ACA so that it will work better for all Americans. So that just goes ahead and goes to my point on that there are some Republicans who don't want to work, as this next paragraph will show. The announcement effectively puts the healthcare push in limbo. With his 52-seat majority, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican of Kentucky, can only afford to lose 2 senators and let Vice President break a tie. Senator John McCain is in Arizona this week recovering from surgery, so McConnell will not have 50 votes until he returns. So if another GOP senator comes out against the bill, McCain's presence will not save it. Rob Portman of Ohio said that he needs to review the bill, but told reporters that a repeal-only bill will add more uncertainty. You've got Ted Cruz and Rand Paul going into this debate now. So basically, here's what's happening. The Democrats voted through the ACA in 2010 or so. And it reduced the uninsured rate. It allowed people with pre-existing conditions. It did these certain things. And so now basically what you're having is a discussion between the Tea Party Republicans and the more moderate Rand Paul kind of like the Republican, like the 2 Republicans who voted against Betsy DeVos. You have a conversation between those 2 people. And so you're having a flashback of 2008 when the Democrats could push anything through. Anything. They had a supermajority. They held both houses of Congress beyond a shadow of a doubt, and they held the presidency. So they could do anything they wanted to. That was a supermajority that they had. But now this healthcare fight is somehow it's a flashback of that, but instead of having a supermajority, the Republicans only hold a small majority. And so, listen, we've been over the policies of single payer and how you can do single payer either at a federal level or you can do single payer at a state-by-state level and all these different things. And so the policy of it is obviously we don't really need to discuss here, but I just want to talk about the political strategy the Republicans are taking here. Basically, from what I can gather, is that they're going to start pushing this narrative of the Democrats are obstructionists, which is hilariously hypocritical. And for one, and for second, for number two, it's not a good strategy to start pushing this, because why blame the Democrats for your failings as a party? Like, the Democrats got together and they came up with this right-wing Republican solution to healthcare, which was Obamacare and the individual mandate and the Medicaid expansions and all these different things. What amazes me is that the Republicans turned on their own bill so quickly. Like, it amazes me that they were able to turn on their own personal beliefs in finding that's not the best way, and going against what they used to believe in for healthcare, which was that the individual mandate needs to be a thing and all these different things. So and we can't have a discussion about healthcare if we don't talk about the insured rate. What is it? 53 million Americans would lose health insurance within a decade of the passage of this Trump care bill. What? That's the opposite of healthcare. They're cutting Medicare by, what is it, $800 million, $800 billion, $800 million, I think. Like, what? Like, why? This is why I don't like American politics, because the topic at hand, almost every topic in the American political system, we're not actually talking about that topic. We're talking about the best way for people to make profits off of that topic. So with healthcare, it's not about insuring people. It's never been about insuring people. It's about making sure that insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies can all get their profits, because at the end of the day, that's what makes the world go round. When in reality, that's not what makes the world go round. Like, the Democrats are going for this lukewarm kind of like, you're going to take your moderate change, you're going to take your incremental change, and you're going to like it. You're going to sit down and you're going to shut up about it. And so, while the Republicans are like, yeah, every good thing Obama ever did with healthcare is gone. We're just going to take it. We're just going to take it away from you, and we're going to argue these bullshit reasons onto why we're doing the right thing, and we're true patriots. We are true Americans. So, I'm just saying, when we have a healthcare discussion, why don't we talk about how many people we should try to insure instead of how many we would instead of talking about how much good it'll do for private insurance companies who make more of a profit when they turn away people that they're supposed to cover, you know? So I don't really understand it. I don't really like it. I'm totally for healthcare as a right. You're born, you know, and I still say we're the greatest country on earth. Why is it that countries that are so much smaller than us and will never come close to the power the United States has gotten over the last century, how come they can do it, but we can't? We can go across the world, jizzing all over many different countries, our American freedom juice, but Iraq cost us $5 trillion, by 2050 or something. It will cost us $5 trillion. A Medicare for All system, Bernie Sanders proposed one that wasn't even close to that. It was like 1/5 of that price. But nobody complains about war or blowing shit up in the Middle East or killing innocent brown people because we are at war with defending Western values. And some of those Western values is life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. If I don't have health insurance, I can't pursue my happiness of wanting to be a painter or pursue my happiness of wanting to be an accountant or my life because I don't want to live life because the second I mess up I have to go to the hospital or I'm not going to have any way to go about it. I'm not going to be able to do anything. So this whole notion of a free market system is all fucking bullshit. It's all bullshit. Why can't we have some decent human beings that go, you know what, we're gonna fight for everybody in this instance, and not people with 7 zeros after their name, or it's just I don't understand why. It breaks down like that. I don't understand how we can pay for everything else. How we can pay for war, how we can pay for cutting taxes for the rich or cutting taxes for corporations, and then not be or pay for the Wall Street bailout, or not. Like what? Like, come on, it's such a flimsy argument. The whole argument of we can't pay for it, because the people who say we can't pay for it, if the Trump administration, people like John Bolton and Michael Flynn used to be in the administration. If people like John Bolton want to go up there and say, listen, we're invading Iran tomorrow, those same people who say we can't pay for Medicare for all would be like, yes, we should invade Iran tomorrow. I don't care where the funds come from. We're going to invade Iran. Like, oh my God, like, stop it. Every country in one form or another has some form of single-payer Medicare for all system. Now, I'm not saying base it. I'm saying base it off of those. I'm not saying complete it and copy it 100%, because we're not the same country. We have more GDP. We have more citizens and more revenue. We could tax more people to get something out of it. Right now, we're getting taxed at the same rate as Scotland, and Scotland is getting better things out of paying those taxes, because right now all we're getting out of our taxes is war in the Middle East and blowing up brown people because a few Christians want to go to war with Islam, and that's really not okay with me. I want to pay taxes, and therefore I want to decide what my taxes go to, and as a tax-paying citizen, I want my taxes to go to infrastructure and education and healthcare, and not war. I don't want to pay for war, especially since we've been in Afghanistan for 16 years, and the general of Afghanistan said we're just getting started. What, we're just getting started in Afghanistan? Are you fucking kidding me? How many more years do we have to be there until we're not getting started, and until we can fund other things like healthcare? So, both sides are incorrect on this. Democrats aren't pushing hard enough for single payer. They're not explaining it very well to the American people, and Republicans are just robbing you blind every step of the way. What was it? A study showed that Trump's economic plan would give poor people $40 and rich people a $40 tax break, and rich people $940,000 in a tax break. Like, it's just, we've been here before, and people are paying attention now. More people are paying attention now to the fact that Republican economic policies just simply do not work. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, I want to move on to Mitch McConnell. People celebrating the defeat of this unpopular Trump care bill, which is an interesting angle that I want to get to. The fact that we're even having a discussion about a healthcare bill that has 17% approval rating is beyond me. Obamacare, we would have a discussion on, and about, it's split roughly 50-50 between people who say we should improve the ACA and people who say, no, the ACA is good as it is, don't mess it in either direction. that's about 50% of the country, and then the other 50% is start from scratch or undo most of it, but keep some of the good stuff. So, at least with Obamacare, it's a split 50-50. With this, well, what is that? 83% of the country disapprove of this healthcare bill. Maybe less because you have some people who just don't know. That's usually about 7 or 9 or 10% of the country. So more than half of the people living in this country who are paying taxes and who are American citizens, people who are polled on this, they're about to get a law that they disagree with, but can't do anything against it. Like, it amazes me that this is something that is going to happen. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? A healthcare, any bill that has a 17% approval rating should not be talked about. Why is that a thing? This is the most unpopular healthcare bill I think I've ever seen. And so listen to McConnell here, because I still want to talk about the Republican strategy about this, and maybe he'll say it. If not, I'll just explain after. But I want to show this video right now, at the very least.
Our timeline of when this vote is expected to happen.
I'm sorry. So this is obviously from CNN.
There is a lot of uncertainty right now on exactly how the next few days will unfold, John.
Learning a little bit about that right now.
I think this was earlier in the day as well.
Everyone knows about Obamacare's skyrocketing costs and its plummeting choices. Too often, however, this discussion seems to veer into the abstract. These are not just numbers on a page. These are the lives of real people.
Okay. Yes, these are the lives of real people, and your bill is worse for those people. And I want to just talk about insurance companies pulling out. Most of the insurance companies that pull out are from red states. Now, I want to make very clear that in the red states, they didn't accept Obama's Medicare expansion, the Medicaid expansion. Why do you think some of those insurance companies pulled out? Because Republican governors just didn't expand Medicaid. The reason of Obamacare's failing and it's self-imploding is because the Republicans sabotaged it by not accepting the Medicaid expansion, which isn't Obamacare's fault. It's the Republican governors and senators who decided just to not do it. So that simply on merit alone amazes me. So let's go ahead and continue with this whole narrative, shall we?
These are the men and women we represent, Americans who are hurting, middle-class families who deserve better than Obamacare's failures. We worked hard to provide them with a better way. We did so in the knowledge that this task would not be easy. We understood it would not come quickly. But we knew that it was the right thing to do, so we pushed forward anyway. I believe we must continue to push forward now. I regret that the effort to repeal and immediately replace the failures of Obamacare will not be successful.
He doesn't regret anything. He probably is hoping for that. He doesn't want to replace it because what do you replace it with? That's the most... Right now we have a very one-sided healthcare market, one-sided healthcare debate almost. And so what Obamacare did was move it somewhat to the center. So if you get rid of that, you don't have much wiggle room left before you go from what we have before Obamacare to what we have now. There's not much you can do in between those two endpoints. So I don't understand why he doesn't improve the ACA at the very least. Like, it's Newt Gingrich supported this against Clinton's, I think, public option in the 90s, or maybe even single payer in the 90s. Romney has this in Massachusetts, has Obamacare in Massachusetts. And you almost voted him in as president in 2012. So improve on your own ideas. This is your idea. I don't understand why that point doesn't get brought up more.
Doesn't mean we should give up. We will now try a different way to bring the American people relief from Obamacare. I think we owe them at least that much. In the coming days, the Senate will take up and vote on a repeal of Obamacare combined with a stable 2-year transition period as we work toward patient-centered health care. A majority of the Senate voted to pass the same repeal legislation back in 2015. President Obama vetoed it then. President Trump will sign it now. I imagine many Democrats were celebrating last night. I hope they consider what they are celebrating. The American people are hurting. They need relief. And it's regretful that our Democratic colleagues decided early on that they did not want to engage with us seriously in the process to deliver that relief. But this doesn't have to be the end of the story. Passing the repeal legislation will allow us to accomplish what we need to do on behalf of our people. Our Democratic friends have spoken a lot recently about wanting bipartisan solutions. Passing this legislation will provide the opportunity for senators of all parties to engage with a fresh start and a new beginning for the American people. I suggest that.
He is such a douche. How does he keep winning re-election? The part that got me was the whole
Democrats were celebrating last night.
This.
I hope they consider what they are celebrating. The American people are hurting. They need relief. And it's regretful that our Democratic colleagues decided early on that they did not want to engage with us seriously in the process to deliver that relief.
That is such smug political hackery. Democrats have called for bipartisanship ever since this whole thing has begun. And what Republicans have done is shut them out. There is no open door meetings. There is no... Republicans have closed door meetings all the time on Obamacare. There is no... Let's get... I think we should get to the middle of this healthcare debate. I'm Turtlehead Mitch McConnell, and I think that the Democrats don't understand that the American people are hurting. And so my plan is to take healthcare away from more people over the next decade. But that won't make the people hurt. I'm Mitch McConnell, and I represent you. Like, how does he keep winning re-election? Like, he's such a fraud. He's such a liar. He's a deceiver at the very least. I mean, come on. Even people in his own state are like, dude, Bernie Sanders represents us more than he does, which is amazing because Bernie Sanders is like in Vermont, not in wherever Mitch McConnell's from, or representing, I guess. So, and this is the strategy they're going to take. They're going to say that the Democrats are at fault for not working with us, and therefore don't vote Democrat because they'll give you Obamacare. But all Democrats have to do is go, we've asked them multiple times, and they just keep shutting the door on us. And also, to put this in perspective, Republicans are cutting Medicare, which in the long run won't be good because you know who votes? If you want to make the claim that Bernie Sanders voters wouldn't get out and vote for him because they're millennials, and millennials are usually the ones that vote the least, fine. But Republicans don't seem to understand that elderly people vote the most in almost every election. And you know what Medicare is and Social Security is? Elderly people use it. So I don't understand why they're trying to disenfranchise themselves from elderly people when elderly people would just look at that and go, oh, we're all getting affected by these cuts. I don't really want that to happen, so I'm going to vote for a Democrat in the next election. I don't understand how these people are smart in the sense that they have an education and they've been in politics for a while, for years upon years upon years. So if I can figure that out, I'm pretty sure the Republicans can figure that out also. So, this is the update on the healthcare discussion that we're having in America. It's not about how many people we can insure. It's about who gets lined in their pocket. Who gets the most money, and so it's just disgusting. Bernie Sanders talking about Medicare for all. Yes, every person who has a life will be covered under that healthcare plan, and we can pay for it. We can do it. It's just nobody wants to, because it's not, the healthcare debate isn't about giving people healthcare. It's about making rich people richer, giving them tax cuts, and making the donors of the pharmaceutical company, Big Pharma, and the health insurance companies, and making them happy and giving them more ways to turn away people so that they can keep more of their own profit. It's not really about healthcare. So let's move on to the net neutrality, which is something I think all of us could get behind. I've got an NPR article up, and it's basically talking about net neutrality in this article. FCC votes to begin rollback of net neutrality regulations. Whoa! The FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, has officially begun to undo Obama-era regulations on Internet service providers, often called net neutrality rules, or Internet service providers, ISPs. The rules, passed in 2015, had placed cable and telecom companies under the strictest ever oversight of the agency. In a 2-1 vote along party lines Thursday, the FCC Republicans voted to propose a new review of the rules with the goal of loosening the regulations on the industry. As dozens of protesters outside urged the agency to stop the proceeding and keep the strict oversight, FCC Chairman Ajit Pai argued that the current rules represented a bureaucratic straitjacket on the industry. The internet was not broken in 2015, Pai said, repeating his often chosen turn of phrase. The utility-style regulations known as Title II were and are like the proverbial sledgehammer being wielded against the flea, except that here there was no flea. Okay, let's stop right here. This man is crazy. Okay? Now, net neutrality is the idea of is this idea that you can't have people pay in to ISPs and give them faster internet. The internet, under the regulations passed under Obama, that the internet should be free and open, and that net neutrality is very complicated. That internet service providers should provide the same access, or whatever access you pay for, or is provided to you. That's what you get. Every website's the same. That's what it is. It's not right now. It's not about what you pay, because they have to make a profit. But right now, what net neutrality is that websites like Netflix, Facebook, Amazon, YouTube, they all get the same rate on the rate that you pay for. That's what it is. You pay for a rate. Every website gets that rate. Without net neutrality, let's say Facebook pays into ISPs like Verizon, Comcast, Cox, all these different AT&T, but YouTube doesn't. Or Facebook pays into it, but YouTube doesn't. YouTube will then get put into a slow lane, while Facebook will be put into a fast lane because they paid into it. But the fast lane is just the normal rate, and YouTube will be in a slower rate. So you're paying for this rate of internet, but because YouTube itself didn't pay the ISPs, they will put them in a slow lane, and therefore you're not getting the rate you pay for on those websites. And the Trump administration also just completely allowed that to happen. They're destroying the equal and free access of the internet. They're also allowing the ISPs to sell off your information to all these different things, like your social security number, which is awful. So They did that. That's on their hands. That's what they did. So, yeah, the internet wasn't broken in 2015, but this will break the internet. So, I don't understand why this is such a hard thing for people to grasp. Like, come on. Are you kidding me? I mean, why is this even an argument? This is so not an argument. Like, people on both sides love the internet, whether it be for YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or, porn or Hulu or whatever it may be. Like, this affects all of us, and this shouldn't be a bipartisan issue. This should just be an issue of, do we want freedom or not, in the most basic terms. So let's keep reading. The FCC's new proposal, titled Restoring Internet Freedom, considers not only whether to undo the legal approach that enforced those rules, but also whether the rules were warranted in the first place. As Pai puts it, the proposal would, quote, return to the Clinton-era light touch framework. He also proposed to stop treating wireless carriers the same as cable providers. Pai has argued that the 2015 rules have slowed the telecoms industry investment in building out broadband access and introducing innovative products, and specifically weighed for smaller internet providers. For the past few weeks, both supporters and critics of Pai's reveal plan have produced research making the economic case for both for and against strict net neutrality rules. The dissenting Democratic commissioner, Mignon Clyburn, opposed Pai's proposal, calling it no touch rather than light touch. Quote, if you unequivocally trust that your broadband provider will always put the public interest over self-interest or the interest of stockholders, then destroying internet freedom is for you, she said. And it's weird because a lot of these ISPs are also TV people, and they provide TV, and TV is getting destroyed because of the internet. Things like YouTube and Facebook, Netflix, Hulu. They're getting, their news from Facebook and Twitter. They're getting their entertainment from YouTube. They're getting their TV shows from Netflix and Hulu and HBO and all these different things. So they have this power of influencing websites that want to participate to pay the ISPs while also slowing down other things such as YouTube. So, if someone that I watch for political news or just social commentary does a story about how, Verizon and Comcast and AT&T and Cox are all ISPs and they're all wanting to shut down the internet, without net neutrality, they could slow down his website, causing people, making people who want to watch him basically unable to watch him because the internet is so slow. So that's what we're talking about here. So I don't understand why this is even a bipartisan issue. I don't get it. I don't get why this is a bipartisan issue at all. Like, this shouldn't be a thing. Like, we should both be like, no, listen. This is something we're not going to stand for. I'm a Democrat. They're a Republican. My neighbor's a independent. I have someone across the street who's a libertarian. None of us are going to stand for this, and this is all wrong on every sense and scale of the word. Wrong. So this is one of the issues, I think, along with money in politics and Citizens United and the net neutrality. These are things that we can all come together on and start working on for all of us to agree. So now, sadly, one final note about this is that, sadly, this story is not going to get as much attention because of the fight with the healthcare bill. Turtle Man Mitch McConnell and, Brooklyn Chuck Schumer, they're fighting right now, and that's more important to the news than the FCC. At one point, this will be the top news story, and hopefully everyone can see that, this is something that is not okay under any stretch of the imagination. But, once that day comes, that'll be a good day, because then America as a whole can finally come to terms with something we, on all sides of the aisle, we all agree on net neutrality and that what the ISPs are doing is wrong and that they shouldn't be doing this to begin with. All right. Gonna take a little break, get something to drink. So this has been the Political Jargon Show. We shall be right back in just one moment. Welcome back. Welcome. Everybody, welcome back. We're back. So, I've got this video I meant to show you about with the healthcare debate that I would like to show everybody now. And I also just found a new story that I want to talk about while we were on break. So, with this healthcare debate, real quick, I would just like to point out that this always goes back to my point about the idea of false patriotism, and it's the worst thing that could possibly happen. And so, Media Matters has this video on Brian Kilmeade, another way of saying please, Brian, kill me instead when you open your mouth. This is on Fox and Friends, and he's talking to this guy, Ari Felicer, and they're talking about the healthcare, and just listen to what he says.
Rand Paul, extreme conservative / libertarian, Ted Cruz. I'm going to get my hands dirty, make this work somehow. And you got moderates like Senator Portman listened to his governor, and you have Senator Collins who said, I got some huge blowback when I went back. So these people are being true to their school, just not true to their party, and maybe not true to their country. The president said before he knew that he had these two defectors, reported according to Politico, he goes, if the Senate Republicans don't get this thing done, they'll look like dopes. Do they look like dopes?
He's right. It's not a question of being true to your party or true to your country. It's a question of being true to your word. They should not have elevated the issue for 8 years among Republicans saying, first thing we'll do is repeal and replace if they weren't capable of doing it.
All right,
Did you catch what he said? Now, what Felicia said, I think holds some water. Maybe the Republicans shouldn't have been so disgustingly horny for repeal and replace. Maybe they should have thought it out. And it's a fair criticism to say, hey, listen, you guys had 6 years to come up with something that was in the something that made Obamacare work, and instead you dismantle everything that did work about Obamacare and all the issues that were there before. Oh, they're the shining part about your healthcare bill. But Brian Kilmeade is one of those people who has a fake sense of patriotism, and I'll say it till the very day I die. I would say probably about a majority of people on Fox News have this false sense of patriotism. You know, he goes, Rand Paul and Ted Cruz and you know, you have Senator Rand Paul and you have Ted Cruz. You know, Rand Paul, extreme conservative libertarian. Ted Cruz, I'm going to get my hands dirty and make it work somehow. And then you got moderates like Portman listening to his governor, and you have Senator Susan Collins who said, I got some huge blowback when I went back. So these people are being true to their school, just not true to their party, and maybe not true to their country. Again, this sense of if you go against what the president of the United States says, you are somehow un-American. And I would argue, no, it makes you more American to protest authority, to question authority, to look someone in the eye and say, that's not true, you're lying. But Brian Kilmeade doesn't see it that way. He went on Fox and Friends for 8 years and said, listen, Obama is a tyrant, he's a king, he's the next Hitler, he's the next Stalin, it's fascism, it's communism, it's socialism entering the United States, they're coming for our guns. Is he going to apologize for any of those bullshit lies he said? Probably not. He probably won't have to. But all of a sudden they take a moderate stance. Hey, listen, I bet you Suzanne Collins or Rob Portman said, listen, I'm not about taking 53 million people off of their health insurance over the next decade. Listen, if you got that number down to 20 million, listen, that's room for discussion. They're not that moderate when it comes to this issue. Just Trump is so extreme, and Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan is so extreme on this issue that anybody who disagrees with this is somehow not true to their country. What? That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous thing to say. How dare Brian Kilmeade? And he has a way to go up there, and he has a voice, and he's got people who listen to him on a daily basis, and people are going out of that going, listen, that Brian Kilmeade, he's a smart cookie, he's a smart dude. No, he's not. Who says that? Who says that shit? Nobody says that. So these people are being true to their school, just not true to their party, and maybe not true to their country. Not true to their country. I just mentioned this is a 17% approval rating. You know who's not being true to their country? Trump. For even thinking, Mitch McConnell, for even thinking that this was a good idea, that the American people are behind you. The American people aren't fucking behind you, you ass. What the fuck? No. So this is this false sense of patriotism. It's only patriotic when you fight back against a democratic president. It's unpatriotic, and you're an un-American communist scum if you fight back against a Republican president. That's my belief. Oh my God, Brian Kilmeade, you make me lose IQ points. You make me lose them on a daily basis. So let's move on to the U.S. sanctions in Iran. The Guardian is reporting that the U.S. sanctions 18 Iranian entities day after certifying nuclear deal compliance. My bad. Here we go. Quote, the Trump administration announced on Tuesday new sanctions on 18 Iranian individuals, groups, and networks over non-nuclear behavior, such as support for ballistic missile development. The move came a day after the administration certified to Congress that Iran is technically complying with the nuclear deal and can continue enjoying nuclear sanctions relief. The Treasury Department is targeting even 7 groups and 5 people that aided Iran's military or its elite Revolutionary Guard. The sanctions also target what the U.S. says is a transnational criminal group based in Iran and 3 people associated with it, and the State Department is also targeting 2 more groups associated with Iran ballistic missile program. Sanction freezes any assets the targets may have in the U.S. and prevents Americans from doing business with them. Okay, listen. Listen here, big... Sorry. Believe me. Listen here, Trump boy. Listen here, Donnie. Don't fuck with Iran, okay? This shit is not acceptable. I don't understand. They're doing everything right and still getting... Okay, look, I'm not going to lie. A transnational criminal group based in Iran and 3 people associated with it. That's fine. I don't mind that. But the Treasury Department is giving 7 groups and 5 people that aided Iran's military or elite Revolutionary Guard. That's a problem. Aiding in your military is not something that should be sanctionable, especially since it's not nuclear. First of all, the Iran nuclear deal literally has no way for them to build nuclear weapons. None whatsoever. So there's that. And it's like they're pissed. Not necessarily Trump, because I don't think he actually has any good understanding of what's happening. But people like probably Rex Tillerson and Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell and, the warmongering John Bolton and McMaster, they're all like, fuck, we can't attack Iran. We can't attack Iran. I want to blow shit up, but we can't attack Iran. Like, this is them being petty. This is just pettiness out of the Trump administration. Iran has cleared Congress. The move came a day after the administration certified to Congress that Iran is technically complying with the nuclear deal and can continue nuclear sanctions relief. That statement is important. Continue enjoying nuclear sanctions relief. The talking point of we gave them millions and millions of dollars, it was their own money frozen by our sanctions. It brought them to the table to stop them building nuclear weapons. So, of course, you can have your money back. Plus, Iran is fighting ISIS. The deal called for after a 5-year implementation that Iran can start building small weapons, small ballistic missiles and small weapons of such. That will help in the fight against ISIS. The Iran got attacked by ISIS. So I don't understand why this is such a bad thing. Iran got attacked by ISIS. They don't like ISIS. We need help in the region because we shouldn't be there. Iran is willing to do it. At the same time, we don't want them to have nuclear weapons. So what we do is we sanction them. They come to the table. We go, listen, in 5 years after we pass this nuclear deal, we can maybe think about letting you have some small missiles and small weapons that can go fight ISIS literally in Iraq that's right next door to you. If you don't build nuclear weapons, the only thing you can enrich uranium for is your power grid, because you run on a nuclear power grid, and we're not one to tell people in their own country what they can and can't do. Okay, so that's what we did. But the Trump administration is literally trying to do anything to undermine Obama and everything he's ever done. Obama ate a turkey sandwich. Obama ate a BLT. They're not. Bacon is banned from the White House. They're trying to undermine anything Obama did. The nuclear deal probably wasn't perfect. Nothing really is. But it's probably a step in the right direction at the same time. So, and plus, I understand John Bolton wanted to go to war with Iran under the Bush administration. His position most likely has not changed. Why would it? Why would it need to? So this story is completely ridiculous, and I don't understand it at all. We're like poking a bear with a stick. Now, we could, honestly, because we spend so much fucking money on the military, we could blow up Iran anytime we wanted to. Should we? I would argue no. I would argue that we shouldn't just go in and start blowing up countries whenever we want to. There's no reason for us to. I don't understand why we have to decide that, oh, look, blowing up countries is the best thing that we can do right now. So why? I mean, some of the sanctions, like I said, some of these sanctions against the transnational criminal group, look, if they're criminals, then okay, that's fine. But that aided Iran's military, or two more groups associated with Iran ballistic missiles program. Listen, they hate ISIS as much as we do. They're on the opposite end of the spectrum. You know, that being said, Iran is still a shitty place to be and a shitty place to live, and they run their country awfully. But why? I just don't understand. It's just because they're petty. We are not that petty, believe me. We are not petty. We just don't like Iran. And even though they follow the rules, believe me, they follow the rules. We still don't like them. We're still going to do some pretty shitty things to them. So I don't understand at all what any of this is and why we're doing it while we can't Flint have clean water, or we can't give people basic universal health care coverage and they go bankrupt because they have to spend so much money on health care bills. I don't understand why this is even a discussion in America as of right now. So let's go ahead and move on to my final story that we have. Pat Robertson. Now, this is fucking hysterical. This is so unbelievably stupid. Pat Robertson is this Christian fundamentalist who puts Christianity in a bad light. I think, as speaking as a Christian, that I don't like this guy. This guy does not represent my Christian values and what I believe to be what the Bible says and what Jesus tells me to do. And you should listen to some of the things he says. It's fucking gross with some of the stuff this guy says. I can't think about some of the examples I have, but just Google Pat Robertson funniest moments, and what was it, like people who smoke weed, or like Satan spawn, or something ridiculous like that. He was having an interview on the 700 Club, and let's just go ahead and get this video started, because it's so just bad. It's so bad, and this is the talking point Sean Hannity used, and it's just so bad. It's just so bad. Okay, here, ready? Let's go ahead and listen to his brilliant thoughts on Trump Jr. and the Russian lawyer thing, and the probable smoking gun that is the Russian lawyer.
Trump administration is being accused over and over again of consorting with the Russians, and a group called that came against young Trump Jr. And there was a bogus British spy, Christopher Steele, I believe his name was, and this thing was called Fusion, apparently a democratic operation, but the whole thing was engaged in saying the Trump administration is being manipulated by the Russians. And Therefore, the Democrats are saying what they were trying to do is to keep Hillary Clinton out of office. But my thought was, maybe that's not the case. Maybe this group wanted to get caught to prove that they could disrupt America after Trump won. And they've been pretty good at that. I mean, we're paralyzed right now because of this thing.
All right. What? Okay. So he's basically saying, even though he can't form a sentence for some reason, what I got out of that, and what I think almost everybody would get out of that, is, all right, listen, I got it. The Democrats hired somebody, and that company or that somebody hired this lawyer to then go to her friend, her pot,
for what to do next on healthcare Monday night. Now that the current Obamacare replacement,
her friend, in the sense of the pop singer, that's what I was trying to say. So the lawyer's going to go to the pop singer, and the pop singer is going to go to the dad. The dad's going to go to Rob Goldstein, and then Rob Goldstein is going to go to Donald Trump Jr., send him an email saying, hey, listen, my friend knows a lawyer in Russia that has some damaging info on Hillary Clinton, and so he's going to accept. They're going to hold the meeting in the White House, or in the Trump Hotel, and then the Democrats are going to have this for 6 months, 5 months. What was it? It took place in June, so 6 months? No, 5 months. 5 months. Have this for 5 months and not do anything with it. Okay, listen, Donald Trump just become the nominee. Should we release the damaging things that we have about this operation we set up? No. We got this. We got this. Oh my gosh, Hillary's losing. Hillary's losing in some states. Her national lead is 2 points. Should we release it now? No. No. She just lost Pennsylvania. We could release it on election night, and that could change some polls somewhere, maybe get some votes somewhere. It's fine. It's fine. Donald Trump just became president of the United States. Should we release it now? No, it's fine. It's fine. We have this. We've had this for 5 months, but we're not going to do anything with it. We got to wait till the time is right. Believe me. Donald Trump just appointed Betsy DeVos as education secretary. Should we release it now? No. Donald Trump is becoming aggressive with North Korea. Should we release this now? No, we got it. And then all of a sudden in the middle of fucking June, they released it. What kind of story is this? This is unbelievable. Pat Robertson literally thinks the Democrats hired this group that then hired this lawyer, and then wanted to tell the lawyer to tell a pop singer, and then the pop singer's dad, which then told Goldstein, which then told Donald Trump Jr., and all of this was orchestrated by the Democrats. What? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. No sense. I don't understand how this is at all. This isn't funny. This isn't true. This is so disgusting on so many different levels. I don't understand. I don't like it. This is so... Yet he has a platform that he can talk about this. It's disgustingly gross. I don't get it. I'll never get it. It makes no sense. I mean, this is a guy that thinks that we worship demons on Halloween. He probably thinks weed is the form of Satan and Satan's spawn, and gay marriage is the worst thing to happen. And when gay marriage was legalized, all hell broke loose. Even though it's been 2 years and everything's okay. Like, ugh. Okay, guys. Thanks for the coming to the Political Jargon show. I'm gonna go ahead and take one more break. I'm gonna go get something to drink, and then we'll top off the show real quick. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Welcome back. So this was the Political Jargon show. I hope you all enjoyed the show. This was the live show for July 18th, 2017. I don't know when the next one's going to happen. I'll tweet it out. Follow me on Twitter. The link should be down below. So yeah, this was the Political Jargon show. I hope you guys enjoy your day. Yeah, see you guys next time. I should do maybe some other videos, some of the smaller segments I used to do. Sometime this week if some breaking news happens. If not, I'll probably do another live show one day next week at some point. Maybe next Tuesday. So yeah. See you guys next time.